staff, please wait until the meeting is over to ask them, or you may contact staff at the office the following day. Once public testimony and discussion for a particular item has concluded, the members of the board deliberate and render a decision. Members with a personal or financial interest in any of the requests are required to recuse themselves from voting. All decisions by the Architectural Review Board are final. Any person having a request for certificate of appropriateness denied by the board may appeal such denial to the Montgomery County Circuit Court. Any such appeal shall be filed with the Circuit Court within 30 days after the receipt of the notice of the final decision of the board. We have 5 members present. It takes 5 to pass a motion. Because of the number of members present, if you would like to delay your request, please let us know at the time your request is announced. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce members of the Architectural Review Board. Cedric Campbell. Cedric, did you wave your hand? I did. All right, I missed it. Kalia Bell. Hillary Morgan. And John Hayden. All right. Members of the land use staff. Paula Wade. This is her next to the last meeting. Ashandra Anderson. Sean Rose. Warren Adams. Russell Stringer. And Orem Snow. All right. First person on the agenda is Jordan Creel, Old Cloverdale, 737 Park Avenue.
I'm here.
Adjust your microphone.
My request, I'm Jordan Creel.
Okay.
My request from last month's meeting got delayed, pending approval from a couple different adjustments that you guys wanted to see with the parking pad.
Okay. You want to just go quickly through what you've done?
So to this point, if we could actually stay right there for a second. So that's more so where I started on the east side of the house. There's an old, really dilapidated retaining wall and a lot of wisteria overgrowth to the right of the carport right there. So I cleared all that and I graded where no grass would grow or anything. I graded, made a new retaining wall there and graded back about 30 feet and put a level pad, weed barrier, crush run, and a gravel parking pad for my truck that does not fit through the carport of the just due to the year the house was built. It was incredibly narrow as far as where the truck goes through, so I built a parking pad for my truck and trailer to the right. And
Okay.
originally requested approval after the fact.
Okay.
So being right there, it got delayed because we couldn't really come to much of a solid agreement on exactly what needed to be done to remediate the parking pad in order to more or less cover up or screen it from the road. So made a couple adjustments and proposed a drawing with several pictures as well, if those are in there.
All right.
Did we get any more pictures in there?
Yeah, Mike, can you keep going? There you go. Thank you.
So, yeah, keep on. Those are from the original. Keep on going down a good little bit. That's the original retaining wall. New retaining wall being built. Proper drainage. So that's part of the parking pad. So, yep. Keep on going. Couple more down. So these are the new and the proposed adjustments to the east side of the house. I proposed to put a defined edging on the parking pad, which instead of showing y'all my artistic ability, decided to go ahead and put a couple of those decorative bricks down to show you the edging. Obviously, that's not complete, but as far as that goes, going all the way to the retaining wall,
Okay,
and we can scroll a little bit more.
all right.
So that's just more so the street view, but it would go around the pine tree and on to the next picture. So there's artistic ability on display. I know it's quite grainy, but I do have the actual drawing that I did draw if you guys would like to see that. But more so just proposed, and you can see the 2x4 right there. Proposed that I would have along to the right of that 2x4, about 5 to 7 Emily Bruner hollies, as well as proposed to the left of the 2x4 that you guys would approve. Just more crush run and gravel to fill the void, but I think I can get it done with those adjustments.
So you're talking about putting more gravel on the left side of that 2x4?
Yes, sir. To fill that void right there, so that the hollies would be to the right of that, coming straight down on the exact slope of that 2x4 to the right from the tree to the driveway, and then the left side that's all necessary for the truck and the trailer for me to back it into the parking pad, and all the way parked on the parking pad. So if my only reasoning for asking for more to fill that void with more gravel and crush run is that's already dead from backing the truck and the trailer in the first place, and it's going to remain dead and remain bare if we don't put any gravel or anything in there. It's going to remain dead and bare. So
Yeah, I mean, I know you may still be going through your presentation, but
No.
my first thoughts is I would be more in favor of the hollies going on the left side and not filling that remaining area in with gravel. That's just my thoughts. But I'll let the chair kind of talk about what was mentioned last month, and I don't know if that was a suggestion from the board or not.
That line that he has drawn with that 2x4, if you look at it from on the other side of the crush run, it really is like the delineation of where he needs to back it in. So even if he puts something right there, he's just gonna keep on driving over it.
If he puts something there, he won't.
No, he will, because that's why it's dead.
Okay. Well, that's just what it would take to get my vote. That's all I'm saying.
So if you don't,
I think that when you think about what we ask other people to do, we ask them not to have the vehicles impinging on the front of the house. You know, they're always wanting to make the turn this way and park their cars in front of the house so it's 3 steps to the door, and or put a semicircular driveway in so that it's taking up most of the front yard. You've avoided a lot of the pitfalls that we usually find fault with because you have kept everything over to the side of the house. It would be nice to have bushes there, but it's not practical to have bushes there because you have to back the truck up. I'm pretty satisfied. I drove by on Sunday afternoon and stopped and looked at it for a while, and because it's near the crest of the hill, it's really not going to be very noticeable to anybody driving by. The people who drive are driving up Park Avenue, we're not going to see it. People who are driving down Park Avenue will have an opportunity to look up there and see it. But, usually I'm too busy looking at your pretty house to notice what's over there on the far side. Is there anyone from the audience who has a comment about this project?
Madam Chair, I would like to read into the record an email that we received from the Old Cloverdale Association.
Okay.
Mr. Rob Hesse is unfortunately not able to be here this evening. So he did send us some comments.
Okay.
And so I'll just quote from his email. The Old Cloverdale Association extended a personal invitation to Jordan Creel to attend our meeting on November 20th of 2023. Our hope was to establish a dialogue with Mr. Creel. Unfortunately, he did not respond or attend our meeting. It appears that Mr. Creel has continued to make some improvements and or alterations to the proposed parking pad, without further direction or approval of the Architectural Review Board. And then he's referencing a photo that is attached, which shows where Mr. Creel has used a road-based rock and not gravel that is used throughout the neighborhood. The Old Cloverdale Association would prefer the standard pea gravel be used for the parking pad. And then he goes on to say that some of the neighbors, nearby neighbors, also find Mr. Creel parking the large trailer and truck to be an eyesore. I hope that Mr. Creel considers the ARB's suggestions and also the suggestions of his immediate neighbors and help everyone reach an accommodating resolution.
Do you mind if I respond to that?
Please go ahead.
All right. So I didn't make any other changes to it other than what I took pictures of the proposed work to be done, which is actually still exactly as it sits from those pictures. I'm not quite sure what he said about adding additional.
I think he worked on the retaining wall. Maybe that's what they're talking about.
That or you put the pavers down just to show
Yeah,
us
to
in
show
these
where-
photographs. I mean, you didn't complete the border. You placed some pavers down rather than draw.
No.
I don't know. Maybe perhaps that's what he meant when he said continued work. I mean, that's just something that could be as easily, you put it down to show it what it's going to look like. Not,
He can come look for himself. As for receiving a personal invitation, I got no such thing. Have not received anything other than ARB notices from you guys about these meetings.
Okay.
I would gladly respond
Okay.
because I've got several things like the toilet that is literally 7 feet from this parking pad that is sitting outside, and it's been outside for 7 months straight.
oh, yeah.
Nobody says anything about a toilet, but
Well, I think this is a good example of, older homes were built in the 20s, 30s. I'm sure yours was built in that era. Mine was too. Cars and trucks were a lot smaller then. Most homes had one vehicle. Looking at the photographs, I think like Madam Chair said, I think you've made adjustments. In my opinion, that are not overboard and not, we've seen a lot worse.
yeah, I'd love to see what adjustments I made because that'd be unbeknownst to me.
Well, and again, you're not trying to park, like Madam Chair said, and so many people want to put it in front of the house, which of course is just often not doable. But, the photograph is specifically the 1A that kind of shows, I think, where your trailer and truck are there. I understand it's not complete. You'll have some foliage there that'll do some partial blocking.
And I don't know if it's quite as picturable, but with the truck, and I've sent some pictures for review to Sean earlier this month, but with the truck and the trailer backed in fully within about 6 inches of the retaining wall, the nose of the truck is dead even with that pine tree. And so to his issue a little bit earlier that he raised, that is right there is the minimum tolerance that is allowable to back in the truck and the trailer and have it actually go in there without hitting the carport.
Yeah, I just don't think our issue is to make sure you can fit the trailer and the truck in there. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Okay.
Are there any other comments from the audience?
Cedric, if you look at picture 1F,
Mm-hmm.
one thing I will say is if he puts the board in that triangle, I think your eyes are going to be drawn to the holly and not necessarily that triangle. So while I think right now, just the way we're looking at it in general, we're thinking, okay, we would prefer the hollies up against that sidewalk. I think you're going to be drawn to the hollies instead of the amount
Yeah, my concern is I just don't think, as a neighbor, I would like to see that gravel in that space. If it was pavers or something, maybe, I'd be okay, but extending gravel down, that far, I mean, and he can always table it to next month, we can have more members, but that's just my thoughts.
So, knowing what you just said, would you be more inclined if he were to approve it, if he were to pour secondary either concrete in that triangle?
I think forestry board already
Or
disapproved that.
We're,
I think I'd be okay with some kind of pavers, maybe, Morgan, but just not extending the gravel down. That's my issue.
Is that something that you would be willing to entertain?
Pavers at that triangle only?
Yes.
Yes.
Man, let's do it. If it gets it approved, absolutely. I would, honestly, if allowable, I'd make them the same pavers that are in the walkway currently on the front. I think they're actually 2 foot by 2 foot white pavers.
Yeah, I think I could live with that.
I'm gonna try.
yes, please.
You go, girl.
I move to approve the submittal as noted, with the exception that the gravel extend to the location as it currently sits, which would be, I'm assuming, north of where the tree sits,
Yes.
and that pavers be installed in the triangular portion as noted on sheet 1-8 from the north of the tree to the end of the wood stick. And you would include that the inclusion of the holly be installed.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
I do have one more question.
Yes.
So every time I've installed pavers anywhere, I've always installed, but there's always been a certain amount of gap between the pavers with either pea gravel or rock like that. So is the rock acceptable between the pavers?
What size joint are you talking about in between the pavers?
I couldn't hear you.
You're talking about having a joint between the pavers?
Yeah. More or less, but about a 4-inch gap between each paver.
We're saying you would align the
Pavers.
up against each other so that there is pretty much no gap there. You need to install anything to eliminate weed control, and the recommendation would be to put sand over top of it, which will fill in that hole,
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
I
and
own
then
a
get-
landscape company.
and they get compacted down.
And we're completely against paving that right there, or making that concrete.
Yeah, if I was you, I would run with the motion and the approval you've gotten.
Or you have to wait until more people come, because somebody else, one of the people who are missing, they might agree with you. You could, but you would have to table it until next month.
All right. I don't really know what to do, man.
You have an approval. Anything differently, then it would be coming back next month.
You have approval to do what we've given permission or approved. If you want to try something different, you could fill out another application at a later time, come back in, try it again.
Yeah,
Will
I
it be
know,
the
I'm
more
not
board
trying to
members or
take
different
any
board
more of you
members?
guys' time. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see if we can run with it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Project number 2 tonight, Cedric Grant Garden District, 1540 South Perry Street.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Cedric Grant, and I was denied on the last review due to y'all asked for more detailed information on the dormers. So I had, Mr. McCain here, he's the architect that, so I got him design and send in all the information, and I'm hoping that's enough detailed information to show that, show what I'm doing with those dormers.
Okay. Is there anyone from the audience to speak to this project? Ms. Callaway?
Laura Callaway, Garden District Preservation Association. We would defer to the board in terms of whether the details are acceptable for this style of house.
Okay. I appreciate your taking the time to do the drawings, and I felt much more comfortable after seeing them. I think, also, I think that the dormers are probably pretty well proportioned for the facade of the house, and I think once they're up and painted that no one's ever going to notice them. It's going to be just like this house has always looked to everyone. Any other comments? If not, may I have a motion?
So there's fence, there's windows on this one as well, right?
Yeah. But we didn't have any questions about the windows last time.
Last time y'all were
Yeah.
okay with the windows?
We were okay with the windows. The drawing still doesn't show the window correctly. You call it out as a double hung, but it's written like it's some sort of, like it's lacking the meeting rail in the drawing, but I think that's just a drawing error. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's all right. Your note is right, your drawing doesn't reflect your note. All right, that's okay. I've never done that, no. Any other comments on the project? If not, may I have a motion?
I move to approve as submitted.
All in favor?
I'll second that
Gotta get a
motion.
second.
Oh, John seconded it.
I got it.
I was just anxious. All right, all in favor? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate this extra effort you went to.
All right, thank you.
David Sumner? Approval of construction of a new garage for the property located at 655 Hubbard Street in Cloverdale-Idlewild.
Good evening. Yes, I was here last month, and I had to go to the Land Use Division, the meeting a couple weeks ago, and they did give me an approval to build the garage.
Okay.
So they gave me, a variance on the easement, so I don't have to be 5 feet
Away from the property line. Yeah.
Their only caveat was to make sure I handled water runoff appropriately. So I'm back. These are the original plans from last time, where I had an example of the style of garage I was looking to build. Kind of taking some inspiration from my neighbor. They have a carriage house on their property. So that's an example. I've kind of modified the design a bit. So this drawing doesn't include some of the changes that I've made. I don't know if I'll get approval in this meeting, but if any kind of feedback or on the design, any issues with it that I may need to address to resubmit, open to that as well. So it would be a 2-car garage. Second level of it, would usually be the attic area. I wanted to finish out for additional storage and potentially a kind of a home office. Using a spare bedroom as a home office now, it would be nice to move all that out to a separate building and reclaim that spare bedroom for guests that come to visit.
So it's not going to be a man cave, huh?
It might be. I mean, I do like the idea of having a garage I can work on projects
Yeah.
and work on things, and not do that in the driveway, exposed to the elements. So, but also to store vehicles and just to. When I bought the house, I didn't know there was a garage there previously, so I just kind of discovered that there was one there. So it makes sense when I rebuild one to try to put it on the same footprint. Those colors aren't exact. I was going to go with pre-approved colors from the Historic District palette, 2 shades of brown to kind of provide accents.
Okay.
The first level I wanted to do with a shiplap siding, kind of the front end of that gable, what do they call that? The board and batten design, and then where the barn dormers are on the roof line. Coming out the side, a kind of a shingle siding, a shingle look siding there, just to trying to break up the profile and just provide a bit of texture to it. So one of the design changes I did make is the roof line from the front, where the rafters are kind of coming over, extending that down the side of the actual garage itself. So it kind of breaks up that large wall with rafters. My house has exposed rafters with kind of a faceboard on it. Just don't know if that's would be a requirement. I would like to kind of match the original accents of the house,
Okay.
as opposed to closing it in completely. Closing it is nice because you get rid of the potential for wasp nests and dirt daubers, but kind of building up in those little crevices. But I don't know what the board would recommend or require for those kind of accents or details. That photo there is just an example from international paper, I think. Remember who, I don't have the name of the company that makes a product, but that just shows the 3 different styles of siding options that I was looking at going with. So
Okay.
there's the shiplap, the shingle, and the board and batten. And I do have an example. I know the Hardy board has been approved previously. This is their product. It's a wood product. If you wanted to see, I brought it. If you guys were interested in looking at it for approval on using this material for the siding, would you like to see? Or?
Yeah. Yeah. The Hardy people always seem to be convinced that what we want is a wood texture when the sides of our houses don't look like that.
Yeah, it's a little too exaggerated,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Y'all want to see it?
I'm good. You want to see it, John?
So, not sure if, kind of just want to hear from you guys your feedback on your thoughts on what I'm requesting to build a garage, if it's something that's doable, or if there are any issues with my design.
The only question I had is that you don't have any section drawings of your windows, and we do need to make sure that either you've got a true divided light, or if you're using a window with a grid, the grid needs to be on the outside and needs to be, high enough profile to look like the wood window.
Yeah.
That's the only question I had after looking through it.
So Previously, when I've gone with some windows, it was the Marshall Marshall millwork. I've gone with theirs, so it's the truly divided lights, double hung. So I would go with something similar to try to match the
Okay.
same style of the house.
Board members are not clapping, but they should be, that you want to do this.
The only question I had is for building code for efficiency. Is that still allowed on new construction to go with like the single pane glass like the house currently has on it? That's the only question I had, is if that's something that would cause me issues when I submit for a building permit or have inspections done.
I don't know. We don't have
It is.
requirement, is it?
It's acceptable to be able to use in single hung in residential applications.
Okay.
However, my one recommendation is if you can get a insulated window, it of course helps with energy efficiency, but
Or you put storm windows up.
yes.
Always a better idea because the airspace is then this big rather than the infinitesimal space between the two pieces of glass. Is there anyone from the audience to speak to this? Mr. Collin, I see that you're here tonight. And do you have shorts? It's not cold yet.
Of course.
Not a blizzard yet.
We don't have any particular objection to the building itself. It's hidden way back on the property, and I don't think it poses a problem from that aspect. But we would ask, you plan to have electrical power?
Yes.
Any plumbing?
One to put in kind of a shop sink in the back of the garage just for cleanup and washing off stuff.
So we have plumbing and electricity in a 32-foot by 21-foot building. These things have a way of morphing into a residence, and whether you would do that or not, make a great workshop, I understand that. I have one myself, but the next owner, these things have a way, and this is bigger than a tiny house. And so if there's a way to caveat the approval that it can't be used as rental property, it can't be used as, or maybe it can't have a finished bathroom.
If you see your neighbor carrying a toilet into the backyard, you need to call the city immediately.
That's a cause for concern.
No good can come from that.
But that's our real concern, is that down the road, what may happen with the building.
Well, certainly if anyone were to put in a bathroom in the top, whatnot, if it became a residence and it came to, that could cause some serious financial problems for whomever did it. Now, I don't think Mr. Sumner's going to do that. I know he may sell the house 10, 20 years down the road, and if somebody comes with us and says that they've converted it to an apartment, they're going to have problems. But in any event, you don't intend to sleep there. This is strictly a workspace, David?
Yes, sir, it would be. So I know the Board of Adjustments meeting I was at, there was a gentleman who was asking to run some plumbing to what they were calling a tiny house on his property. And they did put in stipulation that he would only allow family to live there, and that was part of the agreement. So I don't know if there would be a way to do that here or do that, do something similar, not family, but just that would only be used for office space here or through the Board of Adjustments. Just that way, it's kind of, there's understanding with that property what is approved use for that building. So if somebody does try to do that down the road, there's something that could be used for recourse, I guess, for the neighborhood or for others to be able to say that this isn't acceptable for you to turn it into a residence or to rent it out. Or
Yeah, our concern is that those kind of things happen under the radar.
Yes, they do.
They get done, they get installed, they get done, and like I said, this is a house, and probably be a very nice house. So that's our concern, and I don't know exactly how you deal with that.
Well, I think it's beyond the purview of our commission, but it is something that all the neighbors need to be aware of, no matter where you live, I mean, we're not zoned in some areas we're zoned for a duplex, but if someone is turning their house into a duplex without going to the, without getting a building permit, then that needs to be, you need to turn your neighbors in that case.
Well, and I live a block and a half away, and I've recently retired, and I've walked in front of your home more times than I can count. And I will be doing more so since I'm now retired, and if I see something, and then again, I know David's not going to, but down the road, if I see somebody carrying a toilet inside, I'm like, okay, somebody with the city's getting called.
Can I see the elevations of the side again? Do you mind?
That's
Okay,
the
I
left
was
side
just,
of the
I was
house.
looking for that door.
Is that 8 foot by 8 foot a door?
It was kind of like a barn-style door that slide open just to move equipment like lawnmowers and whatnot from the backyard into for storage. And again, this is just a first design I kind of threw together. So if there's an issue there, it needs to be smaller, it needs to change the profile of it or location of it, I'm open to making any adjustments and returning for approval.
I move to, oh, can I make a move?
Sure.
I move to approve as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
One question, Madam Chair. You said as submitted, you mentioned some changes that you made that are not on here. Is that?
Yeah, so the rafter section that's on the more sloped front portion, it continues. I was wanting to continue that down the side, the full length of
Okay.
the structure, just to kind of break that up, just not being a solid wall going straight up, just kind of add
Okay.
some.
I changed that. I move to approve as presented.
All right. Second? Thank you. All in favor? All right, thank you very much. I think this is going to be a great project.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Number 4, Cole Smith, Garden District, 358 Rose Lane.
Take care.
Yes, we are requesting to have to build a fence across our front yard. There are fences on either side right now, so it would just be straight across the front. My wife's pregnant. We're about to have a baby, and we have 2 dogs, one of whom is blind and increasingly confused. So we just kind of want to be able to pin them in, but also let them out in the morning when we're dealing with a baby and stuff in those first months. It's just going to be a white picket fence, Gothic style pickets. I think I have a picture further in there. And like you can see, not super long, not a big project. Yeah, white. And it's set back a little bit because we have a magnolia tree right there that is, it's being rehabbed right now. It was on the wane, but I think it's kind of bouncing back, and I didn't want to mess with the roots. And also
Okay.
those crepe myrtles right there, which would just be hard to get into that ground. So
Well,
just,
You've got nice landscaping up there already, so the fence would look good behind it, I think. That's a good decision.
Chair, one thing we didn't see in the application was the material for the fence. Can you confirm the material, the
the
fence?
material, wood pickets,
Wood, okay.
3.5 feet tall.
Okay, so 40 inches, and then
Yeah.
42 inches. Okay. Any comments from the audience about this project?
And there's our little blind dog right there.
Yeah, I saw her. Or him. I don't know which it is.
Him, yeah.
Him.
Laura Calloway, Garden District Preservation Association. We do not have any objection to this.
Any other comments from the board?
Move to approve and submit it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? All right. You're getting the prize for speediest man tonight. Thank you. Johanna Mortara, 1637 Madison Avenue.
Hi, I'm Joanna Mortara. Okay. So I just recently moved here and purchased this beautiful home, which I'm really excited about. I was improving the property when Mr. Stringer came by and notified me that I needed to have approval with you guys. So I want to start by saying sorry that I'm doing a few things backwards. So I quickly filled out the forms and submitted them. I was removing a large pecan tree that was beside the house. It was very near to the home, so it was disrupting the foundation. The branches were also encroaching over the roof line. And I had asked the seller before I purchased the property if he would trim them back, and he didn't. So I felt like it was, having 2 little kids, a little bit scary for me, having that big tree there. I don't know if you know much about pecans. I'm from Texas, and they do self-prune, so I guess I have a fear of pecan trees with their limbs dropping. So I wanted to preserve the home and the foundation, so I was removing the tree, and then, so I'm asking for forgiveness and approval for the tree removal. I do want to plant another one, so I've already picked out my tree, and I want to clarify on that drawing. It says on either side of the driveway, so that doesn't mean 2 trees, it means on one side or the other, just to clarify, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love trees, and this was hard, and it was expensive for me to cut down, but it was hard for me to cut down such a beautiful tree. What I have done though is I did save a slice of it at the base, and I'm gonna have my brother make a memento table for the home, just as a reminder of the tree that was there. Just a little keepsake. So I have that big piece. I'm excited about turning that into a piece of art. So I just go down to the next thing. My next thing is, let's see, the driveway. All right, so I started removing the driveway, unaware that I needed approval. It was pretty confusing. I actually had several concrete companies come out and give me bids for the driveway, excuse me. And one gentleman even said, hey, we need to make sure, that there isn't any discrepancy between the fence line and the street. And I might be able to save you money. So that was exciting to me. So he came back and said, they said that that's your responsibility. So I said, okay, well, let's go forward with the project. And then that's when things kind of halted, because I realized I was in a historic district and needed approval. Now, there were hexagonal pavers there. Most of them were destroyed. I did carefully, before any work was done with the tree, I removed those to preserve those because I love them. But I am requesting that I could be allowed to pour a smooth driveway from the street to the carport.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's what I'm asking for. The next thing is, and the next thing is the fence. I know that I would like to put it back to the more original condition of it being a wooden fence, more traditional to the era that the home was built. Not only that, but I've noticed that that's a really busy corner for foot traffic and lots of cars back up on that street. There were some scary moments and interactions with people in cars with my children, asking them to come to their vehicle. So I feel really unsafe at that property with my kids playing in the yard. Also, that Florida room, that glassed-in sunroom is full exposure visually into the home. There's also a bathroom at the back end of the house, and it just feels bad to be able to look out and see all these cars sitting there. If I can see them, they can see me. So I'm proposing moving that fence line, replacing it with a privacy fence, but also moving it up to the corner in order to encase that glassed-in Florida room, just so then my family can have privacy and enjoy that area of the home more. What was the other thing? Oh, and then I'm also asking if I can build it a little bit higher, only because it is such a busy street. I don't know if y'all have been at that corner. It is so busy. And there's accidents there. It's actually quite dangerous. I don't know if I would have bought the house if I had sat there and observed it. You know, I have a 6 and a 4-year-old, so I'm concerned about safety and security, visually and physically.
And you want to run that fence all the way to the corner?
To the corner of the house. Do we have a good picture of where the corner of the house is? If we flip back.
The front corner of the house?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So the glassed-in, like, Florida room, right in front of that.
Gotcha.
In case that really, I figured aesthetically that made sense. And I would not have a gate there, but I would have a double gate at the drive, of course. Yeah.
Mike, if you can go up to 5A, I think will be the best photo. It's yeah. Thank you.
Wood picket fence, did you say that?
Excuse me?
Did you say a wood picket fence? Or?
No, just a solid wood fence.
A privacy fence.
A privacy fence.
Okay.
Right, yeah. So up to the corner there, you see the glassed-in Florida room looking thing, and you see the 2 windows. So to that corner.
Okay.
So it'd still be, you know, behind the house, if you will, because
Yes.
the porch comes out. So not up to the porch. So my kids and I can have safety there. It's been hard. My husband lives in Korea. He's military. And so I'm here until summer 2024 with me and the kids, and it's just, I'm scared here, to tell you the truth. Before I closed on the house, it was broken into, and the fridge and the stove were stolen. So I'm really wanting to make this as secure as possible.
Ma'am, you mentioned you wanted the fence a little higher. Were you talking about higher than the current chain link fence?
Right. I think the standard height is, I'm not sure how high the chain link is, but I think
privacy fences.
standard height is 6 foot.
For privacy fences, yes.
Yes. So I'm requesting 7 or 8 foot, just because there are people right here on the street just backed up, stopped for quite a while at that stoplight that's there. And there is loads of trash that I'm constantly picking up on that corner, which I don't mind. That just comes with the territory. But just to, create more of a divide between residents and public access. And the fence, of course, the fence line would be on the other side of that brick curb. If you see what I'm talking about.
Is there anyone from the audience to speak to this project? Comments from the board?
I'm a bit concerned about the height, and I totally understand exactly what you're talking about as far as the safety and everything.
Yeah.
7 to 8 feet is definitely too tall. And because you're on a corner, that height somewhat really poses a problem for me, even visually.
Well, I will say there is plenty, and I don't have a good picture, so I apologize. There is quite a bit of property still, like there's quite a bit. And do we have a picture of like the front yard of the property?
Yeah.
It's not a good depiction. I should have taken a side shot, but there is quite ample yard, because that is one thing that one of the fence guys who came to bid was, explaining, we can't infringe on like traffic. And he said, this is definitely within an acceptable range, back at that corner. I understand about 7 foot seeming huge. I agree. Like, I'm not,
because literally
wanting to put something ugly or barbarous there. The other idea I had, because I was looking for fences, maybe. And it increases my expense too, so I don't look forward to that.
Right.
But what if we did 6 foot and then I had, let me get my phone real quick. Some sort of, not a lattice, because I'm not a fan of a lattice, but can I show you this real quick?
Where it's open at the top.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when you think about the roof that's on your carport, that should be somewhere around 7 or 8 feet.
I don't think it's that tall.
Well, I'm only 5 feet, yeah, and that's like really, I don't know that I've seen I know I haven't seen
I think that's still part of the fence.
fence
The
that
only
tall
fences
on
that we've
corners.
allowed that were taller than 6 feet, privacy fences, have been things that were on the back of property lines, really
Exactly.
not seen.
Exactly.
Real property
So
line
this is an enormous,
Yeah. And then with the wind, I'm, real serious about the wind and not, we don't have any blocking. It's just get over a very short amount of time, it's pushed over.
You got a 6 foot fence with extra on top that, if someone complains, we're not have to talk about it. You know.
No, and I appreciate your concern about the 6 foot fence. I actually agree with you. Like, I don't want to build a 7 foot fence. I was pushing it to ask for that because I'm already here, and it would offer me that just a little bit more visual, concealing that corner is so busy.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just so busy.
What are the allowances for a corner property like this?
For a fence? I think it's still the same. And staff can say best. I think 6 feet is still the
yes.
the maximum.
I think so. The only time we've ever done
Yeah.
higher is when we've had like a sloping backyard or something like that, have portions of the fence be higher so that the top of the fence
right.
would, instead of having, a
Right.
6 foot
Yeah,
fence
yeah.
would look so strange. We'd
Right.
have 6.5, 7.5 feet so that the fence would have a straight across the
Sure,
top.
this is not the case for
No,
that, yeah.
no.
And a question, I'm looking toward the back, I'm on 5D, and I'm looking at the fence on the back side of the property. That looks more like, I know I can see through it, but it's taller than your chain link fence. Are you planning on taking that fence on the side and then back along the back side of your house, or
I want to make sure I'm clear on.
the piece of the fence that runs between you and your neighbor? Because I'm on 5D.
On that, looking that way?
5D, I think, is the one.
5D.
D.
Yes,
D is in
doggy.
dog.
D is in dog.
As in dog.
This
Yes, that
one.
one.
No,
That
it appears higher, it does not. No, that's all the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, back in that corner, back over there. That's not that's
So
not how
I
it-
have chain link all the way around.
Okay,
The
so that's not
neighbor-
yours. Okay,
The
I
neighbor
got you.
has that, yeah.
Okay,
That's not
gotcha.
my fence.
Okay.
And I just wanted to mention, or clarify, I would put the pretty side out, of course, because, yeah.
Absolutely. I recently had one installed. You put the pretty side out because the runners on through the fence, that's what people use to climb
Right,
over.
right. That's the whole point of putting this fence up, is safety and security, and aesthetically for this city and my home too. Yeah,
Now, if you want pretty side on the inside, you can pay a lot more and have that
have
done.
it
but
double-sided. No, thank you.
it's- Believe me, it's not worth it.
Chair, just a heads up, there could be setback issues with the fence at the side. The chain link fence is, you can see through it, so it's right on the property line, but anything that encroaches into the setback cannot be higher than 3 feet unless you went for a variance.
Okay.
So basically putting a solid 6, 7, 8 foot high fence on that side setback, there could be issues. The front appears to be okay, but it's the side setback that
Okay.
What height did you say, Warren?
3 feet if it's in the setback.
If it's in the setback, if it's on the property line, then it could be 6 or,
The property line is within the
Within the
setback.
setback.
if it's within the building setback? You're saying if it's within the building setback?
Yes.
Gotcha.
You cannot
Okay,
have a
gotcha.
solid fence over 3 feet tall in the required street side or required front yard.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
if she encroaches any closer to the street on either side than the house, most likely than the house, she would be required to get a variance from the Board of Adjustment.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It's not a problem, it's just another meeting.
I want this fence. Okay.
So,
mean,
so
whatever I
you're
need to
saying
do.
anything over 3 foot in height, she has to go to the board of,
If it's, especially this that's on the property line,
she has to go
yes,
to the board?
she has to go to the board.
Okay.
Chain link is considered see-through,
Uh-huh.
like wrought iron, picket, those type of things. But once you make it a solid fence, you've got to get back off of the corners because it causes line of sight issues for the street, both corners, both streets.
If she were, how far back would she have to set this from where the chain link fence is now? If she were to install the privacy fence, how far back would it have to be?
In line with the house, most likely. I would have to look at a map and check the zoning, but most likely in line with the house on both sides.
Okay. So to put the fence where she would like to put it, she needs approval from us and
Board of Adjustment.
to get a variance by the
Variance.
Board of Adjustment. Okay.
Yes.
It may actually make sense, you know, if the fence was deferred to a later date, to take it to Board of Adjustment first. Because even
Usually,
if you were willing to do that, the board could review everything else apart from the fence.
Okay.
And it may make sense to go to the Board of Adjustment to see if they're even going to allow you to put the fence there before.
Okay, wherever I need to go, send me.
If you can call our office in the morning, I'll give you the main number.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure if you can get us an application in the morning, we can get you on the December meeting.
That would be good.
Well, then you could go to the board, and I'm not sure how they fall. I think you would be able to go to the board next month and then come right back to the ARB, but we can check all those deadlines and stuff in the morning.
Okay.
Okay, but I'll get you the main number to our office and you can call us.
Okay.
Can we approve it either way, so that if she goes to the Board of Adjustments and they approve the variance, she would not have to come back?
well, we need to decide. I'm not comfortable with an 8-foot fence. I understand why
Okay.
you want it.
No, I don't.
No.
In
No, no, no.
fact,
It's too
let's
tall.
throw
I'm
out
saying-
let's throw out 8 foot.
Okay.
Let's just talk about 6 foot.
6-foot
Because
fence.
I will be grateful just to have my family safe, and that will secure it. Yes.
And I
So-
would be more comfortable with a fence that only went to the back corner of the house, but
Yeah.
I certainly understand why coming to the front corner of the house is important in this case.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm the same. The fence extending any further than it does now, I would not be in favor of.
Oh, really? Not to enclose the glassed in
Not
area?
to, I would not be in favor of it.
Okay.
I mean, maybe next month you'll have more people here
Okay.
and somebody else may feel
I
differently.
know it's a very vulnerable door and area, so I was trying to make that less accessible
I
for
understand.
entering my home.
I understand.
I understand.
And keeping my kids safe
Yeah.
because they love that room and they're in there a lot.
Yeah,
So it's
I understand, but
Okay.
I would not be in favor of it.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to table this. Is that correct?
Are we going to table everything or just the fence?
What has she
So-
got besides the
The other
fence?
is
Well,
the
we've got a
tree.
She's
tree,
got-
we
she has
got a
the-
tree
and
issue.
she has the
we
driveway
got a
and the
driveway
tree.
issue.
So the driveway, I'm fine with. The tree, my only comment, that was a nice tree. I understand removing it. I would ask you to give us 2 instead of 1. 2 trees.
It was too, I mean, it's been there so long,
Yeah.
and it's too close to the house. It was planted too close to the house.
Mm-hmm.
That's not your fault.
Oh, right, yeah, I'm trying to preserve the house, yeah, and keep us from getting hit.
Yes.
Sure.
So,
But so you were saying, I'm sorry, Mr. Campbell?
Just give us 2 trees instead of 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, so we're okay with privacy fence coming to the front corner of the house
back.
Two trees instead of one?
He's okay with the
And
privacy fence going to the back, but he's not okay with
Okay,
it
with it going to the front, okay.
So we're gonna leave the fence alone until she gets the variance?
Gets the variance.
And we'll just
Okay.
do the tree and the driveway.
All right.
I move to table the fence until next month. And how are we gonna proceed? I'm okay with the trees being replaced by 2 new trees. I move to approve 2 new trees for the one that was cut down. And do we want to do everything separately, or do we just?
I think we can do it together. Because
Okay.
we don't have to address the fence till she comes back.
Right, but now we got to do the driveway.
The driveway, well, I can tell you that if you drive over those pavers, they pretty much become gravel in about
Exactly.
6 months. So you'd have to take up the pavers and make it smooth anyway in
Right.
order to have a good
Right.
driving surface.
So we're gonna combine both of those things?
Yes.
Okay. I move to approve the 2 new trees to replace the 1 tree and the smooth poured driveway from the street to your carport as well.
Okay,
Second.
All right, all in favor?
thank you. And quick question, is the city gonna do anything with the sidewalk? Are they planning on pouring a full concrete pad? Because they removed those pavers in that one section, and then just poured a pad. And so I was surprised with the inconsistency.
We remain surprised as well.
So I don't know if there's plans to remedy that.
Ms. Richardson can give you the number to the city engineering or maintenance, and you can call and contact them.
I'm not gonna
tomorrow.
grovel about it. I was just, if it was a quick, easy answer, great.
It looks like somebody complained about it because it was really uneven or something, and they went out and they fixed it and they didn't tell anybody. So that would be my guess.
That was not city work, Madam Chair. That was a private utility contractor that did that. I advised street maintenance of the situation.
Okay.
Now, whether street maintenance will put Hicks pavers back or not, unless somebody tells them to.
Okay.
But they may be able to get some from her driveway.
I have 6 of them.
So anyway, but
She's
street
got
maintenance
some.
is aware of that, and that was not the city, so we don't have to go through that battle
Okay,
again.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Mortada. And you have some great neighbors over there. You need to get to know some people and you won't feel quite so scared.
It was a good city.
All right, Joseph King, Garden District, 366 Rose Lane.
I'm Joseph King, and I am looking to replace a hog wire fence that goes down the side of my driveway with a wood panel fence. The current fence is 44 inches tall, and I would like to go 36 so that I can see up the street as I'm backing out.
Well, I actually, several of us are sort of,
So you're going 36 and not 6 foot?
that's right.
Because that would change my opinion. 36 I would be okay with.
It's
6
the
I
one
was not.
The wire fence is 44 inches tall.
And you can't see to back out your driveway.
Right, when I back it out the driveway, when I get to the end, I can't see what's coming from Hull Street.
Yep,
Okay, gotcha.
fast probably. Yeah, when my next door neighbors put up a picket fence in their front yard years ago, I was amazed at how, now I have to stop when I get to the bottom of the driveway and inch back in order to.
Even when I stop, as short as I am, I can't see over the fence.
Well, I have to agree with that part too.
I have a Maston cedar at the end of my driveway, and it's split, so I have to very, very slowly until I can see the split, see what's coming from Fairfield.
Well, I have that huge magnolia tree there too. I have to look around it also.
All right, well, I give up on my notions of vaguely romantic vine-covered fence and go with your suggestion that you put a 3-foot wooden fence.
Yeah, but I do like the hog wire with the vegetation on it. It looks good.
It does look good.
It looks good. I hate to see it go, but I understand.
There was a hedge there many years ago.
Ms. Brown talked me into being okay with it, so
And the
thank her.
Previous neighbor asked if she could take the hedge down and put a fence up, and this is what she put up. So.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Who approved that? Just kidding.
May I have a motion on this project, please?
I move to approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Only because it has the Mardi Gras flag.
Okay. Adam Warnicki, Cottage Hill, 613 Martha Street.
My name's Adam Warnke, and I am looking for approval to replace an old deck in the back of my house and with a new deck and a screened-in porch.
Well, your deck is looking like it's at the end of its life.
Bless you.
All right.
So tell me about the trees in the backyard.
Yeah, there's a group of 4 magnolias that looks like I don't know if they're the same root system or what, but they're all together. And they pretty much take up all my backyard in terms of like completely shaded. So I would like to take 3 of those down, and 1 overhangs the proposed screened-in porch. They've pretty much all grown together into one big clump.
Mr. Stringer, I hate to see
Madam-
4 trees go away, so can you talk to this?
Yeah, I would like to address this.
Sure.
And my apologies, I was on vacation last week, and I wasn't able to get in touch with you before I was off. But when I looked at this, where it's described as being 4 trees in a clump, I'm looking at a multi-stemmed magnolia that grew out of one stump way back when. This could be easily a pruning issue rather than a tree removal issue. In fact, this is going to sound harsh, I would rather the board either not address the tree at all in this motion or even deny it so it can be turned into a tree pruning issue. Then I could work with you to get you the results you want without this board having to deal with the tree removal, and so that we can keep you from having an eyesore in your backyard, which you may be about to generate without meaning to. So that's my thoughts on that, Cedric.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I don't have any design issues with the screened-in porch as drawn. Does anyone else?
I do not, Madam Chair.
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from Cottage Hill to speak to this project? So that's easily approvable, and I suppose that I would want a motion to say that we approve the deck and the screened-in porch, and we'll do.
Do you mind, have you had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Stringer concerning, I've got a magnolia tree I'd love to get rid of too, but I haven't asked this board because I know the answer is going to be a resounding no. It's in my front yard, and I've been there 22 years, and I'm just now been able to get a little grass to grow, so I can empathize with your plight. Would you mind working with Mr. Stringer to see if possible to get someone back there instead of, asked to cut it down and to prune it, trim it back? Is that what you're speaking of, Mr. Stringer?
Yeah, I believe that without having to refer to this as a removal, it becomes pruning instead. Pruning does not require your approval.
No,
we can work together and make it work. I mean, your objectives are achievable.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to take it down, you got to come see us. If you want to trim it back, as long as you don't trim it enough to kill it, like we've had a couple of times, you don't need us to say trim it. So, great.
So do you want us to table the tree so that if you...
You can deny it. As soon as you deny it, it's no longer a tree removal issue. He and I will be talking about pruning, and he gets what he wants anyway.
All right.
So, Madam Chair, I move to approve the deck and deny the tree.
The deck and the screen.
The deck and the screen-in porch. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Second.
not the tree. All right, all in favor?
Thank you.
All right, and if it turns out that you do have to remove the tree, you'll need to come back. All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh,
Minutes.
minutes. Are there
Move
any
to,
additions or corrections to the minutes?
Move to approve as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Hey, Chuck.
All right, minutes are approved.
Sorry for being tardy, everybody. I do appreciate you
We
staying.
had a convivial time visiting amongst ourselves. We were just glad to see you.